Hi everybody, I'm here like usual. I love me some animals. The animal kingdom has a whole bunch of creatures, some fuzzy, some swimmy, some tasty. The animal kingdom is as diverse as it is unkind. Considering a majority of the organisms watching this video are animals, as long as we're not counting any of the cells or small bugs on your face, there's a hefty number of animals to fall in love with or not do that very specific thing. You can pet them, you can adopt them, you can easily be mauled to death by some of them. I'd say if you can't think of a single animal you at least kind of jive with, you aren't human. But the entire concept of being human is weird. Are we saying that we're the most morally acceptable by saying we're human? I mean, me personally, I'm not like a big human fan. I'd rather hang out with like a nice cuddly chicken. I will say though, humans are probably like the worst primate. There's like chimps and gorillas, monkeys, the profound orangutan. Primates like these are the most taboo to me. On one hand, very funny when they wear clothing or just hang around. I like this 3-season documentary called Orangutan Jungle School, where rescued orangutan orphans learn to function without their parents teaching them. And just like watching the baby orangutans learn how to crack coconuts and run away from snakes when they see a snake, it's like a community-wide panic. I love this. There's even like an antagonist in one of the seasons. There's this one named Benny who sneaks into the banana horde and just starts eating a mountain of bananas and gets like really fat and overweight. So he's like attacking the other orangutans during milk time and begging for help opening food. Watch this. This is incredible. I love this documentary. Even the clips on YouTube are worthwhile. As an animal themselves, I think orangutans are the most compelling to watch. Bunch of fat guys who hang around and be silly. But that goes with a lot of primates. The mischievous monkeys jumping around, the protective and humble gorilla. Now here's a good icebreaker hypothetical I like asking. Feel free to answer this in the comments. What is like the most dangerous animal that you believe with heartfelt confidence that you could beat in a fight? Like, be honest, most of us aren't surviving a polar bear, but I think I've established my power levels. I could easily take on a rodent or a farm animal as long as it isn't specifically a bull. Most fish, that depends more so on the battlefield. Like, I could beat a whale if it was in a desert. With that being said, the highest, and I mean absolute highest maximum that I think I could take on is a giraffe. Now, I know what you're thinking. Choopo, how are you gonna beat a giraffe? It's too tall. Well, I have studied the art of fighting a giraffe. I've analyzed all possibilities, and I'm going to destroy this long-necked freak. Giraffes have 3 locations of danger. The legs, because they can trample, the horns on their heads, referred to as ossicones, and their necks. Giraffes fight each other using their necks as their primary source of offense. This term is referred to as necking, N-E-C-K-I-N-G. I'm gonna use this as a weakness. Okay, so first off, how is the giraffe gonna hit me? It's all the way up there. I'm all the way down here. Not only can it not see me at some angles, but in the chance it swings at me, it might hurt its head by swinging its entire head into the ground. And here's where I'd like Shadow of the Colossus this freak. Climb up it, bonk its noggin, bam, I win. If not, I go under, shatter one of those scrawny legs. Surely this will be taken the wrong way. I promise this is hypothetical. I don't actually want to fight a giraffe unless I was offered money and the opportunity to. Let's take a look at one I like in concept, but not really anywhere else. When I was in elementary school, we would have to make an animal report where we would talk about a specific greater animal, their traits, and then a specific subspecies within that greater species. And in kindergarten, we didn't have free will, so we were all randomly given animals. Lo and behold, I get the chameleon, and my presentation went very well, and I would say for a 6-year-old I did a pretty good job. Kindergarten doesn't necessarily matter, so I just went in front of the class and I was like, oh, well, chameleons could change color, and they have big weird eyes, and they have tongue and horns. It was great. I did well. I got the kindergarten equivalent of an A+, a shooting star sticker. I haven't been that happy since. So then 1st grade rolls around, same story, different animal, except this time 1st grade rolls around and we get a very similar project. We got to talk about another animal, except this time we got to pick. So my little child mind pondered. I had different teachers between 1st grade and kindergarten. Would they even know that I did the same animal twice? And so I did. I literally reused my previous knowledge, added a little bit more, rinse and repeat. I made 5 out of 6 of my presentations on chameleons. I had it down to a science. This was nothing to me. And then in actuality, I don't really hold too much interest in reptiles. I think the color changing part is cool, otherwise they feel too forgettable for what they are. For some reason, my feeble little mind can't even comprehend a chameleon doing anything. I see clips of like silly cats jumping around and squirrels being thrown around this anti-bird feeder thing, or like deer being launched by cars. I can't even think of chameleons doing anything like that. It's so weird. You can tell me they don't exist and I'd believe you. The same goes with owls. The difference is I genuinely really don't like owls. I don't like how they look. They aren't cool. I don't like how they look without feathers. I don't like the baby ones. Whenever I see an owl, I immediately like mentally block it out afterwards. Well, if I'm being honest, I'm not the biggest fan of birds in general. The flight aspect is cool. Anything from a hawk to a pigeon counts here. I feel like eagles and parrots are the exceptions. I think eagles are like these interesting mythical creatures, whereas parrots are able to replicate human speech. So congratulations, things with wings, you made 2 things that I like. 3 if you count chicken, not really the animal, but the animal when I eat it on a plate. When it's food. I feel really similar about fish in sea life as I do with chameleons. I like the concept of animals, but I don't really want to go down there. I don't want to swim with these creatures. I don't want to scuba dive. A lot of my interest in aquatic life pops up from the amount of media I consumed where fish were the lead characters. Freddy Fish, Help, I'm a Fish, Aquarium Park in Sonic Colors, Finding Nemo, Sea Men. Not Dolphin Tale though. I don't like those movies. I remember the neighborhood kids all had like a Dolphin Tale marathon where they watched all 2 of them, and I didn't want to do that. So I just was like, I hated being there. If these movies were a school supply, they would be a used up highlighter. Fishing games especially, I think did a number on me. The one on Wii Play never worked for me. I could just never figure out how to do well. But otherwise, Animal Crossing, Club Penguin, Minecraft, there's something, virtual or not, that makes me a sucker for chucking a hook into the water and waiting for something to fall into the bait. Because I guess falling for bait or a wall of lies is a universal skill in the animal kingdom. Nonetheless, sharks, rays, octopi, swordfish, and then an odd personal favorite of mine, the jellyfish. It's funny because outside of their depictions in SpongeBob and that one scene in Finding Nemo that always got me on the edge of my seat because I was like always uncomfortable about them bouncing even though they were in the water, I would argue jellyfish don't get that much attention. It took Pokemon 5 to, if not 7 generations to make a single proper jellyfish Pokemon. There's something really compelling about jellyfish and most sea life as a whole. The fact that there's not only this unknown abyss both in sky via space and right under us via all those trenches and parts of the world, it really makes you think about what creatures we have yet to find. The fact we've documented sharks that can live for centuries, along with creatures that can only function within the deep and unfathomably pressurized dark pits of the ocean. Dolphins alone are horrifying to think about. With jellyfish, we almost have like a demo of what other creatures are down there. Stinging, zappy creatures without eyes, moving around with as much uncanniness as they do elegance. You can't help but feel a little intimidated by these creatures. I mentioned I made 5 presentations on chameleons in elementary school, but for my 3rd grade one, I wrote about jellyfish. I got a B- and I never bothered again. Chameleons were just safer to write about. And I never got in trouble for it. So, I mean, why would I do that? It's not even like it was my fault. Every year they would ask us to make a list of like 3 to 8 different creatures and then the teacher would pick which one to talk about. And every time I just got chameleons. They're a 6 out of 10 animal for me. But to end it off, let's take a gander at the pets. Now, this genre of animal is a bit loose because to an extent any animal can technically be a pet. But I'm thinking about what are the most basic options. You got your reptiles, your Walmart goldfishes, and your weird secondary cute small fuzzy animals like chinchillas that are neat but also niche, who most of the time is cool with you, and then some pets that usually pretend to hate you but probably in the end maybe perhaps like you a tad. Maybe someday I'll share some childhood pet pics, but not today. I had a couple dogs and a couple cats in my household. I can say pretty confidently I had a good deal going, though I'd like to have some animal in the future I can take care of. I don't want to just yet, but I feel like, you know, I've met some cats I don't mess with, especially a few dogs. I just want to have a nice bond with something that doesn't know when I'm saying words that insult it. Like, I don't know what I would want to get, but I feel like I'm gonna get more conservative with them. I feel like I would only want 1 or 2 animals max. I don't necessarily want any sort of bird as has been established, but this has been a long-lasting thing for me. I've been told like chinchillas and rabbits and ferrets are extra work and serve the same purpose as dogs or cats, but maybe I'll go that route. Maybe I'll spend more time figuring out what I would prefer. Though I think in the end I'll base it off of vibes. I think I'll just base it off of how cool they are. How many cool points they get. But I hope in the future we get more time to see more exotic animals in person. Like zoos exist, sure, but there's only so much they can do in order to satisfy seeing the funny animals in person. Because I still have yet to be in enclosure hopping distance of a panda or a koala or like a dinosaur like a stegosaurus. Never say never. Nature's made some wacky things before. It can easily happen again. And with that being said, I think that'll do it. So I hope you enjoyed. Maybe stick around if you want. Whoa, look at all these elephants. Elephants all over my room. How am I gonna get rid of all these elephants? There are several elephants found within my premises. Zippy, wow. There are several elephants found within my room. Whoa, wow. Wow.